there's an article I read, I have it saved in a folder that I go to sometimes when I need to come out of the darkness, like out of editorial or out of like a writing period. And I go back to it when I need to sort of shake the reality tree, you know, where you say, hey, what I'm doing is really important, or what I'm doing is myopically obsessive in this particular scene that I'm writing, or this particular moment we're cutting in editorial. And the article is an interview with David Fincher, and the title is "You Better Be Fucking Serious," because that's probably one of the big turn-ons for me. Is I work with people who are very serious about this work. And so I've had a very interesting relationship, having not been on any panels. I don't know if it's because people don't like me, but I think it might also be because there's like a devotion to the technical practicality of execution. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about doing the thing. I don't want to talk about the thing, you know. And so maybe someday people will be interested in what I have to say. We'll see.
When you pull up that article,
yeah,
what does it do for you? I'm sure it varies from time to time.
Like, how does it make me feel? Mm-hmm. It's like a mentor I don't have, you know. It's like a person where you say, hey man, am I on the right track here? You know, am I like blinded? Am I missing out on life because I'm taking this work so seriously? And it's a reminder from a craftsman who I have the highest regard for, that I should just keep going. And that sometimes it's really lonely, and sometimes it's very isolating. And then sometimes there are people who have no connection to the industry, and you engage with them, whether they're your friends or your family, and they don't understand why you care so much about what you're doing. And then 2 years later, they see your film, and maybe they understand a little, but they still don't. So the article reminds me that I'm on the warpath, and just keep going.
And being a little bit removed from the entertainment industry, being mm-hmm. in Washington State, yeah. I know there's a lot of artists up there, yeah. whether it's music or fine art, whatever.
Yeah. I live there most of the time, but I'm here all the time.
You're here all the time, yeah. Okay. So we're sort of like dual residence, sort of?
It's probably like, at this stage, it's probably like 75-25, okay. 80-20, something like that, you know, so.
So then you go to another, you're at least being exposed to both areas, and you're seeing a different mindset.
Yeah.
And so you're not probably hearing about, so we're working on this screenplay. It's the local market that you're frequenting. Right. Or, I had this call back or whatever.
Right.
So does that help you? Does that help you stay more in, quote, the real world? Mm. Or do you not feel as motivated because you're not hearing about the industry all around you at all times?
That's a great question. For my personality, which is driven by myself, like I don't need someone to kick my ass every day. I think that having the distance also away from Hollywood is a real positive thing for the way I work. I think that there's a way to get distracted in the labyrinth of the way the industry wants to give people value, and the way they want to create energy and hope, which when I was living here full time, I found the energy and hope that was being created was a very double-edged sword. I felt like the energy and hope that was being created for me when I lived here was optimism. It was fueling my tank. It made me want to meet great actors and great producers. It made me want to try to move my career forward. The flip side of the coin is you're exposed to the fact that every door is locked to you, whether you're a director or an actor or a producer, and that there are only a certain number of ways to get a key. And so going to New Zealand offered me a reprieve from that search. I didn't have to think about like, how was I going to get a key to talk to someone at Village Roadshow, or how was I going to get a key to go down and talk to the people at Weta. You just go. I mean, you call and you talk to them and decide if they want to meet you, etc. And I really benefit from creating my work elsewhere and not being part of the machine with its highs and lows, with the way that it decides it's going to tell me that my work's valuable. However, I think the industry is tremendously interesting. I think the entertainment industry is one of the most unique business models in the whole world. And there's a discipline about understanding it and respecting it that I think it's very easy to get angry about not being able to get a key to the door and you can't get in, and then being really pissed off about that, and then saying, you know, fuck Hollywood, and having that attitude. And I don't have that attitude at all. I respect it. When I drive down Highland and I see the Dolby Theaters advertising, I'm like, I know why that's there, and I know what it's doing to add value and build the profile of that studio's release. I get all that, right? But so far, I have had the opportunity to work with people here in sort of a satellite capacity, where I come to town, I work with them, or I come to town and we talk about what we're going to do, and then I leave and I go home. And that's been the best process for me. And it's been super rewarding. It's also allowed me to look at the machine of Hollywood with a different focal length, you know, and I've actually learned to have a much better sense of humor about it, you know. And I think when I lived here, I didn't. When I lived here, I was so focused on making my way towards one of those doors that I didn't step back and try to just look at it all and think about how it all works. It's an incredible watch. It's an incredible mechanism with so many variables. There are a lot of very, very smart people here. And there are a lot of people here who are full of a lot of darkness. And it will always be interesting. Whenever I'm flying in, whenever I'm coming into town and I get off of Cahuenga by a Hollywood Bowl, whenever I drive into Hollywood, I'm always like, start looking behind the veil.